Hi, my name is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and I'd like to welcome you to video 9 in our A Journal for a Gentleman video series. We've already completed sections 1 and 2. This is going to be section 3, and this will be hopefully the easiest one that we've done so far. We're just going to make a giant pocket, and then we're going to put a pocket on the front, actually 4 pockets on the front of the big envelope, the big pocket. Okay, so here's our paper, and it's 8 by 8 to fit on the base, and I've inked it. Okay, so now we want to make, now we're not going to use a policy closure. What we're going to do is we're just going to do the Velcro dots just like we did throughout the rest of the book. So what we need is a pocket and a pocket flap. So these are the papers that I've selected. Oops, sorry about that. Had a big crash bang going on. And this is going to be our flap, and this is going to be our paper. So the first thing we want to do is make this 8 inches wide. And so we're just going to cut 1/4 inch off either side, and that leaves this part where it is. It's not centered, but it'll not be farther over. Actually, if we cut it off of one side, that would make it more centered, wouldn't it? No, it looks like the D is in the center. So let's cut 1/4 inch off each side. And then we're going to make it 7.5 inches long, which is going to give us an inch up here to put our stuff in, and then 1/2 inch to flip up under to make the front of the pocket expandable. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off each side. So I'm going to make 8 1/4, and then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to cut it at 8. Then I'm going to cut the length to, I believe I said 7.5. Let me look. So we're going to make it 7.5 inches long. Oh, that'll give us a good scrap for that. So this is going to be our pocket, and this is going to be our flap. I want our flap to be 2.5 inches tall, and 8 inches wide. All right, it's already 8 inches wide. Got lucky there. And we're going to make it 2.5 inches long or wide. Okay. So now we're going to let's double check all this first. Okay, so we're going to score these two. We're going to score one at the bottom and one at the top. And we're going to score them at 1/2 inch, of course. So the one that's the flap, we're going to score at the top. I'm going by the direction of the text. I want the text right side up. And that determines which side is, or which end or which side is the top. And we'll fold it forward and then fold it back. Forward is the way that the score line wants to go. I should have put the paper face down. And then we'll fold it back. Okay. First I thought it wasn't straight, and then I realized it was an optical illusion. We want to score the bottom at 1/2. Then we need to ink them now that we've got them all cut and scored. I've noticed I always get sniffly when I'm recording, and I'm not really sure why. Or maybe I'm sniffly beforehand and I just don't realize it. Now on this one, we're going to have to ink the back side too. That's why I used the double-sided paper, so that when we flip this up, there's still some sort of a print on the back. We're going to have to fold it back the original way. And in fact, I think I'm going to round the corners of this. Just makes it look a little more neat. We'll have to re-ink the corners on the front. And then before we put the sides on, we will finish working on the front of the envelope. It'll be easier that way. So we're going to want to put this on like this. Just slide it and hook that hook over the bottom. And I don't know if you remember that envelope that I cut the flap off of and then I ended up not using it. I'm going to go ahead and use it here, even though we're going to have to cut it down in height. It will still work. Okay, so this is our envelope, our pocket. Let's see. Yeah, we've got plenty of room to put the Velcro dot or dots, depending. So now this section is going to leave us a little bit of space because we're not going to use up all the space in between the cover and the spine. But that gives enough room for this to be expandable. And it also, well, it doesn't make room for the journal because the journal goes to the other spine. If I would have thought about it, I would have made the journal holes to the left side of the spine. And then that would have put them out between the two covers instead of in between sections 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to take the envelope that we cut the flap off of, and the other one that I had inked, I cut the flap off of it. Now we're going to take them and put them together like this. So we need to measure where we want them to be. I don't want them all the way to the top. I think I'm going to put them on like this. So I'm going to measure for the height. I'm going to flip them around so that I'm cutting off the ends that I already cut off once before. So the height is going to be here and, oops, and here. I almost have enough for another pocket, which we're going to put another pocket on. Let's make sure these are even. Okay. They're not. That's all right. Any difference we can make up in the overlap. It's kind of weird. Yep, one's a smidge wider than the other. Oh, I know. It must have been how I had them overlapped when I was holding them. You know, one might have been skewed just a little bit. So we're going to we're going to glue the tops back shut. But before we do that, we're going to paper the insides. So for that, I set aside this paper here. But now I'm thinking, since this is the paper inside, that, you know, that's crooked. I didn't realize it till I flipped it up. Wasn't very much, but it was enough. It bothered me. Okay. Okay, so I set aside this paper for inside right here. But I've now decided that I would rather have this to match the inside in here. So we're just going to take and we're going to flip it over. And we're going to measure the height. And that will give us the height for both pieces. Then we're going to take and cut cut this in half, or yep, cut it in half. And that gives us two pieces, 1.5 inches wide, to cover the inside of the envelope. I went back, and on the insides of part 1 and part 2, I stuffed it full of, I finished off any cards that I had missed, and then I did the, I decorated everything up with the ephemera, and I thought it turned out pretty nice. Okay, now we're going to ink this on the top and the side. We don't have to ink the bottom, but then we're going to put glue on it. Now the only thing is this side is not going to have this edge. If we turned this around so that the text only was facing out, then the writing would be upside down. We don't want that. You don't have to glue the edge that's going to be inside. You only have to glue the edge where the papers are going to go in and out. We're going to use this for extra ephemera and some stationery and things like that. Okay, this is right side up this way. Oh, we're going to have to turn one of them upside down. And this one is right side up this way. Otherwise, the text would not be right side up. Oh, my heater just turned on. Let me grab that. Glue this, and then I'll go grab that. Turn it off real quick. I thought I had it turned down far enough that it wouldn't come on, but I guess it's a little chillier than I thought. Now, why is that one too short? They were the same height all the way across. And I didn't ink where I cut it off either. Alright, take this out. I don't have another scrap of that either. Do have this piece. So let's cut a 1.5 inch wide strip off of this. We'll just cut it off there. It hasn't even been that cold out. I'm filming this in January. And like I said, it hasn't been that cold out, but I don't have a heater in here except for a little ceramic heater. For some reason, it's been cold enough in here for the little thermostat to keep kicking it on. So I have it turned way down. But now apparently I get to work in my shirt sleeves instead of a sweatshirt. I could put my short sleeve sweatshirt on. It's the only one I've ever seen. Okay. Now we can glue them shut. And you only want to glue all up to here, obviously. So there's one. And here's two. We're going to have to re-ink where we trimmed it off. Then we're going to need to decide how much we're going to overlap them. So let's get our pocket. And it looks like we can overlap them right at the lines. But if we pull it out a little bit, does that make it too wide? Because we could add another pocket. This one is wider. Or taller, whatever you want to call it. Just a 1/16. Anyway, if we overlap them just right, then we should be able to add another pocket. Like so. We'll need to paper this. Let's paper it with the black. And there's a scrap. And that will tie it in even more so with the rest of the book. So let's paper this one. Right here. Can't believe I had that glue bottle sitting on top of my paper trimmer. That would be a very expensive paper trimmer. I got it free from Fisker's, the one I had. I had one for 20 years and I loved it. It was a rotary cutter. It had this big gray solid base. And it cut so well. And I had it for so long. Oops. That when the groove where the blade cuts through got too wide from age, and I think I'd only changed the blade twice. It was amazing. I don't know. It was like the magic paper trimmer. I called them, or no, I'm sorry. I emailed them and told them what happened because they have lifetime warranties. And I thought, surely they don't mean that long. And, you know, like maybe they mean the expected lifetime of the product or something like that. Touch up this ink. Okay, so then this goes like this. This goes like that. Yep, that'll work. Okay, now, anyway, so they were going to send me a new one, except for the guy goes, well, we quit making that one about 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh no. He's like, that's all right. He said, just go on the website and pick out whatever one you want, and we will send it to you. And I was like, okay. And I found one like the one that I had that he said they didn't make anymore. So I wanted to pick it, but it was out of stock. And I had to pick it then. I couldn't wait for it to come back into stock. So we're going to make a pocket out of this. So we're going to glue it like this. Oh, for goodness sake. We're going to leave this front end open. And we're going to line this up with the chalk mark. And I just glued all the way to the end on this one. Okay. So that gives us a pocket here, a pocket here, and a pocket here. Then we're going to glue it on the page as a pocket. And that will give us another one plus this big one. What do you think about them cookies? Come on now. Glue seepage. The chalk must be under the little bit of glue. Okay, so we've got that. Now we want to paper this, which we're going to use this to do that. But we're going to, instead of trying to fit these guys on here, which we could do, but I believe we've used them a couple of times. I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to try to get these, or at least part of the vehicles on here. I'm going to put this up a little higher than I need so that I can make my pencil mark where to cut it. And then I'll cut the length in a second. Look at that. Could have put those two guys on there. Or do I want to put this on here? Well, I like the other one better, even though we've used it before. Oh, and it's going to be the cover. So, let's go with this. Okay. I know I was talking about something a minute ago, and I don't remember if I finished what I was saying. If I didn't, and I got halfway through a story, put it in the comments below, and I'll tell you what the rest of it was. So now the neighbor upstairs has moved too, not just the guy on the 3rd floor, but the people right above me have moved as well. So right now I can film as early as I want because there's no one to hear me. The lady on the other side of the wall of the bedroom instead of the ceiling, right? She can't hear me because the wall's kind of funny up and down between the two apartments just because of the way the building is laid out. I don't think I'm going to put a pocket on the front. I was going to, but I like these two vehicles on there. I didn't think I was going to be able to get as much of that one on there as I did. So anyway, it's 6 o'clock now in the morning. I got a little bit of a late start. You know, I think you guys may not be seeing this until March. I may put it up in February. Take a few days off. Just post blast from the past, you know, links to previous tutorials. Okay, now see, if I had realized I was going to do this without a pocket, I would have covered this with a different paper. So now we've got this pocket, this pocket, this pocket. Then we'll glue this on as a pocket. And I was going to put another pocket across here, but could just do the bottom part. Let's see how much it would cover. It would give us a little more black, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be all... Okay. I just thought this would make something interesting and different, you know, on the front of an expandable pocket. And it gives us even more room to put extra ephemera on because I have a ton of extra ephemera. I'm going to put a little bit on here, and we'll put a little bit on the cover, I think. But we're still going to have a ton left over, and I mean a ton. Lots and lots. So now we're going to put this on the front as a pocket. Give me the ability to move it around a little bit. Get it level. Could just put it even with the bottom. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. And that way the derby still shows. Well, that is going to be really close to the bottom. So I might as well just put it even with the bottom. Okay. So now all we have left to do is put these in. These are 1.5 inch wide pieces of paper, and I folded them in half. And then I took the edges and folded them back up, and so that means it's folded in quarters. It makes a W when you look at it. You want to take the point of the W and have it facing to the outside. And in this particular case, I inked it with the black. So we're going to glue I'm going to glue it onto here. No, I'm going to glue it onto here. That way I know where it's at on the pocket. And the fact that you can see through just a little bit is the reason that I made sure that this was printed. In fact, well, I guess I won't. I want to put it along the edge. That one's not exactly along the edge, so I'm going to move this back just a little bit. The main thing is you don't want any of it sticking out over the edge. Now we're just going to put some glue on top of here. Then section 3 will be done. Except for ephemera that you want to put on it, and ephemera that you're going to put in it. Got some larger ephemera for the large envelope. That looks nice. And we got to put our dot on. I think just one will do it. A little dot will do you. Okay. So that's it. I'll probably put something here. And that's probably all I'll do. And then have something that sticks out the sides. You know, I've got this stuff here that I'm going to put in here, which is the bigger ephemera. So I'm going to put these extra stamps in there. Let me see how much I can fit in. I think if I cut it off here, this is partially scruffy where I cut it off with my Collage scissors. I cut that stamp in half, but that's okay. Can still be fussy cut out. And yeah, see, these can go in here. This long folder can not go in there. Well, it can. Then we've got all this stuff. So I thought I'd put that in there. then I guess this stuff won't fit. It's too big. This is stationery. So fold that in half. See, it's too tall. So we can cannot put the black in there. But we should be able to put everything else in. Yeah, this is too tall as well. But we can put these little file folders in. Oh, looks like I still need to cut just a smidge. The reason I was able to cut part of that flap off is because it just folds under and you glue it. I'm going to cut just about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom of that. Let's see if we can put that in here. Okay. Then I'll just find some more ephemera to put in here. I've got plenty of the small stuff left over. And then all we're going to do is glue it in the book. So in the next video, we're going to put all of our sections in the book, and then we're going to do the cover. We're going to decorate the cover. We'll put the papers on and a little bit of ephemera on there as well. Okay? All right, well, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.